Okay, folks. Hi. In this video, in this little lesson, we're gonna look at one of the essays which got into an art school, and actually one of the best art schools in the world. One of my students, so proud of her. She got into the new school in New York, which used to be called Parsons, and she got into Chicago School of Arts and several schools in Los Angeles. I don't even know which ones, but doesn't matter. She's going to go to Parsons, and I'm really glad for that. So this is her Common App essay, and I'm going to, first of all, I want to tell you that it's a very weird essay. It doesn't look like any essay I've seen before. Uh, it's uh, it's not a narrative. It's not a montage type of essay. It's just an essay of her own, and it's essay in which she's unafraid to show her weirdness and her quirkiness and her inner world, really, and that what makes this essay kind of stand out in this numerous essays that we kind of go through almost on a daily basis. So let's go and look at the essay itself. Okay, so here it is, 650 words, Common App. It felt like sitting on the front row of the Schönbrunn Palace in Vienna, not sure if I got the spelling right, awaiting the greatest pianist of all time to come on stage to enchant the audience. Just so that you know, Schönbrunn Palace, here it is, in Vienna, really grandiose. I was only 6, but I could feel the grandeur of the moment. My mother walks on the stage of our living room, approaching her instrument. Her serious facial expression indicates that she's about to masterly perform one of the most challenging compositions that neither Mozart nor Vivaldi could imagine. As she sits on her chair, I close my eyes, awaiting the magical sounds that are about to flow. So silent it is that I can hear her taking a deep breath as she opens up her laptop and begins typing. Tick tock tock tock. Okay, let's stop here. First of all, we think that this is going to be kind of a musical performance. No, it's not. And then it goes like here. It goes like, oh, she's going into living room? What? Okay. Then we still think that her mother is going to play an instrument. But then no, she actually fires up her laptop and just begins typing. But what does this one show? This entire paragraph actually show that this girl has a really great imagination. Like she can describe very ordinary, everyday things in a manner that it looks like, there's a Mozart or Vivaldi going to be playing in the Schönbrunn Palace, but oh no, she's just a mother, just doing her work, right? Actually, pretty good for an art school. Really good. Like it's a way of conveying, like, hey, look, I have imagination. Look how my brain works. If you're applying to art school, really important. I was in awe of her virtuosity. Oh, and by the way, let me tell you this. This is actually a real story, so you shouldn't be making up. You should just show it as it is, and this actually will happen. You remember number one rule is the authenticity. You have to be truthful to your own story. Let's go forward. I was in awe of her virtuosity. So productive my mother looked. Oops, sorry. I wanted to be just like her when I grow up, with my own keyboard, of course. I like this kind of like little brackets. She's like, it's like, little like other side of her personality, with my own keyboard, of course. I used to be a clumsy girl, even managed to break my mother's precious vase from Emirates. Okay. While hovering around the apartment, imagining to be a plane. Oh, just look at this sentence. She was hovering around the apartment, imagining to be a plane. It actually showed that she's really weird in a good way. I I imagine a girl who's just, going in her apartment and like flying in, like imagining to be a plane and just hitting a vase, right? How obsessed you should be with like, with your imagination in order to do that. That shows a level of obsessive imagination. Let's put it this way, in quotes. Okay, mom never permitted to even breathe onto her laptop, let alone touch it. Ooh, tough. So I came up with an evil plan to construct my own keyboard. Using the pen springs, erasers, and paper, I built a bogus keyboard that consisted of my 6 favorite letters, A, F, J, L, M, Z. This girl has favorite letters. Her own world, okay. As they have the brightest personalities. She even has personalities, like her letters have personalities. Interesting. Never met a girl like that. And I can feel that this is true. Like you can't just make it up. So I said typing on my pseudo keyboard, imagining to be as productive as Mom and as cool as Zuckerberg, or at least the actor from The Social Network. I guess she means the movie. I like her, kind of like what if she puts in a bracket like with like a little quirky her speaks in those brackets. Anyways, creating pokes a hive full of questions. I like this metaphor, like a hive. Like bees coming out, like once you start creating. Why aren't keyboards arranged in the alphabetical order? Interesting. Why the distance between every letter is 3 millimeters? Why are the letters white over black? By the way, these are questions that are probably discussed in the art school often than not. By the way, she got into graphic design. Let's not forget this. I forgot to mention that. She got into graphic design. So these are the questions that you as a designer, if you are to apply to an art school and be a designer, you'll be asking all the time. And she is already kind of asking these questions herself, which actually shows that she is on the right track. Like she's well prepared. And this is kind of her thing already. Okay, let's go over. The flow often gets me into new dimensions. Is transparent a color? Good question. Where are all the colorful toilets? Them being white breaks my balance of colors theory. Okay, again, we're entering her world, right? She has her kind of like a balance of colors theory. And really, where are all the colorful toilets? Like, have you ever seen one? Like, I haven't seen one since the ages of like Soviet Union. Like, I remember those Soviet toilets. Like, they're pink and bluish. Looks kind of weird, but anyways, let's not go into that. Let's move on. Why do sinks look like elephants? Yeah, again, imagination of this girl is just very resourceful. The lion's share of my keyboard construction was spent on perfecting the letters. Each letter has its own personality, color, and sound. A, for example, is very confident. As leader of the pack, she stands fearlessly with her hands crossed in a red dress awaiting her next challenge. I can imagine that. L is a simple letter that always tries to be herself without imposing her to others. Okay. U is a dark violet letter that makes everyone laugh, yet her inner melancholy is well hidden behind the smile that she emanates, etc. Wow. This one actually shows that she's really good at emotional intelligence. Like she has a really high EQ. Like there's a letter that makes everyone laugh, but at the same time, she is melancholic. And she only hides this melancholy behind the smile, right? And we probably all know a person like that, maybe. Okay, don't hesitate to email me for urgent inquiries on the letter personality explanations, both Latin and Cyrillic. Okay. Whoa, it's like, if you have more questions, just email me. This shows that she has a very good sense of humor, and she's unafraid to speak to admission officer like that. But be careful with that. You have to not cross the line. It's very, very, very risky to joke, but this one worked. Fast forward, which means kind of, okay, part 1 done, part 2 now starts. What? I'm smart enough to study at the National School of Physics and Math, the most intense STEM-oriented school in Kazakhstan, where students are all about numbers. You know that I'm more of a letter person. Yeah, again, referencing back to letters. I like it. I struggled to find my place. Ooh, okay. Now we have the first struggle. Nobody cared about the paper shades or pencil tip sizes that I did. Oh, okay. So she's kind of like a outsider in this STEM-oriented school with her arty kind of vision and imagination. 0.5 millimeter, ideal for my aggressive handwriting. it doesn't cut through the paper as 0.38 millimeter, and it doesn't leave stains next page as 0.7 millimeter. Good, good. This sentence in the brackets, it's the ideal example of how you do how you abide show don't tell. Like, instead of saying I'm obsessed with like pencils and stationery and whatsoever, she just shows that she's obsessed by saying by just breaking down that she uses 0.5 for this reason, and 0.38 she doesn't use it for, I mean, the millimeter pencil tip, right? She doesn't use it because it, it cuts through the paper, and 0.7 is just too thick and it leaves the stains on the other page. She just shows her obsession through this example. Okay. Oh, stationery, the precious arsenal to express my letters. Through it, I eventually found my tribe, a group of so-called study bloggers, who took note-taking to a whole another level of aesthetics. I watched their videos with my mouth ajar. The easy-to-follow design of their lecture notes was compatible with the UI/UX designs of the most prominent websites. Ooh, you see? This one shows that she knows what UI/UX is. She knows how to compare the website designs with, the note-taking kind of note-taking design, or whatever you call it. So this is amazing. Inspired, I bought my first Stabilo Boss pastels and 0.885 0.4 liners. Getting into the aesthetics of note-taking, my struggles with STEM classes disappeared. Okay, so by saying that she bought this, and it kind of has really precise naming, I guess it means something in the art world. And she showed that she's like really into this. And okay, so we're done with our challenge. She had the challenge that she struggled to find place. And here, getting into aesthetics of note-taking, my struggles with STEM classes disappeared. For the first time, I started enjoying studying. Nice. Not only I found my way of studying, I found my way. Nice. Identity crisis solved. This is amazing. Again, if you are still having identity crisis, it's fine. At this age, when you're applying to colleges, it's totally fine. And, you can still write a good essay and get into a really cool college. So here I am studying my notes, being as positive as my mom, and as cool as stuck. Okay, we're coming back to that Schönbrunn Palace kind of example, I guess. The marker in my hand turned into conductor stick. Ooh. And I have a look at my orchestra of letters. Take a deep breath and begin the performance. Okay, so she comes back to this whole idea of like instruments, musical instruments being played. But what I like about it is that she's not kind of going with the path of her mom, like as it was kind of expected at the very beginning, because her mom was productive and she was typing, and she's kind of a different type of person compared to her. Uh, the applicant here, she writes that, well, she's not like the pianist, she's not the typer, she has her own way, she found her own way. She actually says here that she found her own way, and she shows here that this is her way, not only compared to like she found her own way where she didn't have her own way, but compared to even her mom. Like, you remember at the very beginning, she was looking at her mom typing, and she was like in awe of that. She was like, I want to be as productive as her. But she found her own way of being productive, and it's actually with markers and pencils and writing and like designing. So this is what I find amazing about this essay. Again, this essay got into the top art schools of the world, the top art schools in the US, and again, I can't be more proud of my student. She's amazing. So thank you for this lesson, and we're going to continue, and see you soon.